Time again for the weekly closes on our favorite Bitcoin miners. Let's also take a look at what Bitcoin is doing this weekend as we go into next week where the Hong Kong ETF opens up for those traders there. Let's get right into first the Bitcoin chart here. So this is the daily chart for Bitcoin. So let me get all this a little bit set up there. There we go. Okay, I didn't have it quite exactly the way I wanted. Anyways, you can see we are currently in a descending trend line. So this ascending channel, that's gone. Now we're fully in a descending channel here. And we were kind of staying inside of this little one here, but I'm going to delete that. I'm going to draw a brand new one. You can see that we are below the 5-day moving average here, which is up at 64.5 almost, and below the 20, which is up at 65.577. We are likely to keep trading below this for a little bit. We are seeing wicks on the bottom, which are showing indications of buying pressure coming through. We are and have been for a while, let me turn off the drawings here, in a Bollinger Band Keltner channel squeeze on Bitcoin. And we have been in that squeeze since March 20th. So for a month now. For a month we've been in that. And during that entire time, we have been in this large descending channel. For the most part of it, we have been on a slight decline in this this squeeze. So let me bring on the Bollinger Bands now. Let's have a look. See, where are they at? You can see that the top of the Bollinger Band. Well, first we hit the bottom of it when we came down to 63 or 61,000. The top of it is currently up at $71,000 up there if we were to get back to the top, which I think we very well could off of this leg if this descending channel breaks, and we'll draw that in a moment. The bottom of it currently is at 60,000, which would be our floor, which we already have established that in the past. The last time we got a nice long squeeze on the Bollinger Band Keltner channel squeeze here was back between, it started December 21st, ended January 20th, and you can see what happened afterwards. After that, let's draw the move after that. And first we came down a little bit, so first we came down by about 7%, but then we went up by about 5% before hitting another squeeze for about a week or two. But once that squeeze broke, we moved up 25%, followed by a bull flag, and then we moved up another up to 50%, followed by another bull flag, and then we moved up a full 75% from there once we got that squeeze broken from that big squeeze. We did enter some smaller squeezes along the way, but we started stair-stepping up and eventually did a 75% move. If we were to do that now, that would put us well into that $100,000 range. So let's see if we got a multi-month move like this would be like end of July sort of scenario. 75% move. That'd take us to just about $110,000 if we come out of this squeeze and we do what we did the last time we were in a nice big long squeeze. I promised we were going to do this channel here, so let's do this channel. This is the descending channel here, boop, and that's what we're looking at right there. That's the channel we're looking at right now. Now let me get rid of some of these. I just want 60,000, 57,000, and honestly 70,000. That's what I want on my Bitcoin chart right now. It could go above or below those, but we're kind of stuck in this range, honestly, between 60 and 70,000 right now, and we will continue to be stuck in this range until until the whales decide that we don't want to be in that range anymore, or until retail gets FOMO and takes us out of it. So that's what we're looking at with Bitcoin right now. We are still within this large descending channel that we've established back on March 13th. It is still kind of moving lower. This upward move here that took us up to the 50-day moving average and rejected off of it could take us all the way back down to $60,000. It could even take us down to $57,000. So that is a possibility that could happen. Now, the fact that we're getting strength on these wicks down here at the bottom of the wicks, that does indicate that there are buyers at this level, at the $62,000 level. I am looking for some sort of sell the news event happening on Monday with the Hong Kong ETFs, but after that is done, I am looking for a rocket just like on January 11th or near after January 11th, where that was a sell the news and then a launch from there. Okay, let's move on to the Bitcoin miners. So these are weekly charts now. This is Clean Spark. I like starting with Clean Spark. You know me. I like my Clean Spark. So we are currently showing a candle that I don't like. This candle reminds me of the candles I was seeing on February 26th and March 25th that had a lot of volatility and a lot of movement down back towards that $15 level off of those candles. So I don't like it. It reminds me of that sort of thing. It is a doji technically, but it's got a longer wick on top than the bottom, which tells me that I'm looking for potentially an ugly whipsawing wicky sort of candle, much like back here on March 4th. I'm looking for something like that next week. So we could see some volatility, especially with that new ETF dropping on Monday for us in the United States and Tuesday for people in Asia, somewhere in between for you Europeans. We are likely to see that drive some action here going into next week. So I'm expecting a volatile week next week. So, buckle your seatbelts. Of course, this is not financial advice and not a suggestion to buy, sell, or hold any asset whatsoever. It is for informational and entertainment purposes only. That's what I'm seeing with Clean Spark. I'm looking for a wild kind of week, potentially even coming down and touching that $15 range. Like you see last time we got a pretty ugly doji like that. We had that really long wick doji. It did end up higher than the previous candle, but like it did do a lot of whipsawing for the next 3 weeks before we saw a top and then likely insider selling dilution coming through and pushing us all the way back down to a $13 level before we bounce off of there again. So we might get an opportunity to buy more Clean Spark around $15. That's very possible. I do think 18 is probably going to hold. I think 18 is likely to end up being the new $15 level, but that doesn't mean that for a day or two we don't see it come down to $15 and we get that big wick like we have before in the past. Let's take a look at Mara. Mara was actually doing okay last week. Mara was up 17.76% last week. We are getting a really nice, we got a nice Morningstar pattern here on the weekly for Mara, and we closed above this red candle here, which is crucial for that Morningstar pattern to be nice and bullish. So honestly, I think Mara could push up. I'm looking at Mara pushing up. Remember when I was saying that just last weekend, when I was saying that this hammer candle was really important? Well, guess what? It was important. And today I'm looking at this Morningstar. Now, the Morningstar may not be as bullish as the hammer at the bottom on the move. We could see some flatness now. We could see some weak moves up because like the highest I see that Morningstar pattern really taking us is like maybe $22, but that does indicate that this coming week could potentially be at least slightly positive for Marathon going into it, which is good for me and my calls on Marathon because I have started doing short-term calls on Marathon going for the summer season. So I've started like last week actually off this hammer candle, I bought some calls on Mara, hoping for exactly what happened this week, expecting it, and I'm expecting this coming week to improve those calls a little bit more. That is a plan I have for the summer session, which I've told before on this channel. Of course, it's not financial advice, not a suggestion to buy, sell, or hold any assets whatsoever. I have been loading up on some calls on some of the miners for that expected July rally or up to July rally. Sometime between now and the end of July, I'm expecting some kind of rally, and I'm expecting those calls to do very well in that time period. And when they do, I will sell them. Okay, that's what's going on there. Let's take a look at the chart with my drawings. So we came right up to that $19 level and we paused right there. That's not good. That's why I'm saying this Morningstar pattern may not be as bullish as I was hoping. Now let me get rid of this because it's kind of in my way. I'll leave that there. I'll leave everything else on there actually. So we came right to the bottom of this ascending channel. Now we're coming up towards the middle of it. See what I'm saying? Like that 22 is probably the highest it's going to go. I have my line up there at 22.75, but that's also near the midpoint next week. That's near like 21.50-ish is the midpoint of this ascending channel. And that's where you tend to see some kind of pausing, some kind of like interaction on the chart on these channels is around the midpoint. Will sometimes give you a bit of a hiccup there. And that's what I'm expecting on Marathon Digital. I'm like maybe struggle, like touch 22 and then come back down to like 18, 19 again. From there potentially. That's what I'm looking at for Mara right now. And honestly, even if it were to dip a little bit more, I would probably pick up another call or two for like a January 2025 expiration with the intentions of selling in that summer rally because I am looking for that summer rally. Let's take a look at RIOT. RIOT for the week was up 30%. Again, that hammer candle coming in. Oh, we got a sweet hammer candle that was very bullish. We'll be putting a bull on the screen here. Very, very wonderful, majestic bull for everyone to view here in a moment. So we went up 30%. This is a wicked Morningstar, actually. We took out this candle. We almost took out this other red candle, too. This is making me feel like we're going to hit this 13 next week on Riot unless there's like some kind of bad news that comes through. Of course, if Bitcoin drops, we might not, with this new ETF, we may not see that action occur. But if Bitcoin stays flat or even goes up a little bit, I'm fully expecting us to get up and above this $13.20 line that I've got on the chart right here. I am expecting that to happen probably next week on Riot. That's what I'm looking for. Now, these earnings could be a wrench in the gears here on May 1st. May 1st, Riot reports earnings. According to TradingView, last week I thought Bit Digital was reporting on the 24th. Turns out it didn't. And I checked, two different sites had it listed as the 24th. One site had it listed in May, another had it listed in June. Bit Digital themselves don't have it listed anywhere. So I don't know when those earnings are happening. I don't know where these where these websites got that information, but I'm going to be taking that information with a grain of salt going forward. But currently, TradingView believes that Riot's earnings will be May 1st, which is Wednesday of this week, which is also FOMC day. So this could get wild. I do think that we could get over this $13 level. Now, if Jerome Powell comes up and says, you know, market get wrecked, then yeah, then we'll all be crying and this will not happen. So keep that in mind. There are severe risks going into this coming week with FOMC coming out. We had bad GDP, but we had lower than expected jobless claims, and there's just higher than expected inflation on top of that. So Jerome Powell is probably going to come out on Wednesday and scare the absolute crap out of everyone. So be completely ready for that event and for any of our bullish sentiments to just completely be deflated by that, man. Look for the purple tie. If the tie is purple, then we're probably going to be okay. No, that's just something that's happening on the internet. That's not real. He doesn't only wear purple when he has good news. Let's take a look at Bit Digital. How's Bit Digital looking right now? This is BTB. That is not Bit Digital. Bit Digital. Bit Digital also had that hammer candle, came in nice and good here. Yeah, it said now it's saying Monday, April 29th for the earnings. You lie, TradingView. You don't know when they're doing their earnings. Stop lying to me. Uh, whatever they do their earnings, I'm going to delete this descending channel here. That's too aggressive. Yeah, I still have this on here. I need to see this get above. I need to see it eclipse this candle right here from April 8th on Bit Digital to really get bullish on there and expect it to go to the $3. Like, I love what I'm seeing right here. This is great, but it didn't eclipse this candle here, which tells me that this could go flat or even come down. Sorry if you can hear my dog crying. She's not getting enough attention today. Sorry. I'll play with you after the video's done. Anyways, yeah, it's coming up to like 258 is where I really need to see this go before I'm feeling confident that we're going to go back to $3 very quickly on Bit Digital right now. We are in still a descending move, but we are kind of coming off of this descending arm, and if it gets that momentum, you can get that momentum, and then earnings are good, we can move up to that $3 pretty quickly on Bit Digital. Let's take a look at Bitfarms. They're probably still languishing because they don't have a CEO. Yes, they are still languishing because they don't have a CEO. I'm going to delete this. No, I'll leave it. I'll leave it. I'm getting too many drawings on my Bitfarms chart. It's difficult to look at. So we had this candle here, which I said was kind of bullish, and it ended up being plus 2% weak. This thing is a very flat doji. That is indicating that Bitfarms doesn't know which direction it wants to go. And I really am of the belief that Bitfarms is not going to know which direction it wants to go, no matter how much good news comes through, until that new CEO is named, until we know who the new fearless leader of Bitfarms is. I don't expect to see it do anything really, amazing until that happens. So we're still just kind of in limbo until the new CEO appears. We're going to be in limbo, I think. Now, earnings might be good, and if earnings are good, maybe that will take us out of this funk. But I'm really thinking it's going to be a CEO. Like, Wall Street wants to know who's the CEO going to be of this company before they park their money back with this thing. Let's take a look at CIFR. I've been dabbling with the warrants, so I should probably look at the underlying. It is in an ascending channel, actually. Last week was friggin' good. It's up 17%. That hammer candle came through for us. So we absolutely eclipsed the week before, meaning that this coming week, which says earning, no, it's not this week, it's the week after. Earnings is on May 7th, which means this coming week, we have a chance to potentially come up to either the bottom of this candle here from March 25th, which would be $4.80, or to the top of this candle here, which is at $4.95, which is from the April 1 week. So I am looking at that type of a move right now. I want to see a move that either comes between here and here. That's what I want to see on CIFR next week. That would be awesome. Not for me, because I'm not in my warrants anymore, actually. Can you come back down a little bit, please? That would be great. No, I'm just kidding. If you're in CIFR, yeah, it's looking good. It looks nice. It looks pretty good. Let's take a look at IREN real quick. IREN for the weekly close was plus 2.63%. We are in this ascending channel right now. In fact, I'm just going to delete that. I don't really want to look at that right now. This didn't really come through, to be honest. This again is showing a doji candle, just like on Bitfarms. It's not looking like it really wants to make a decision as to where it wants to go up or down. I'm not really sure on IREN because I don't investigate it as much as I do with Bitfarms. I'm not really sure what that's about. If anyone in the comments knows or knows a lot more about IREN than I do, you can let us know exactly what's happening with IREN right now that could be causing that indecision in the market in terms of which direction it wants to go. So really, that's all I got for you today right now. I'm going to do a couple more videos this week, and some of them are going to be a little more fun, a little more speculative. I like doing that sometimes. But this was the weekly closes. Some of them look really, really good. We do have really intense news next week. Next week is going to be a massive, massive mover for the markets. Not just FOMC. We've got other data coming out next week as well. But FOMC really is the big one where Jerome Powell comes out and tells us that they're not going to be changing interest rates at all. Just like we know they're not going to, but the market's going to freak out and lose its mind depending on how hawkish he is. And I think he's going to be hawkish because things aren't looking super good right now. It's getting pretty dicey out there. So keep your seatbelts on and your seats in the upright position and get ready for a rough ride. With that said, please like, comment, and subscribe, and have a profitable day.